You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
Now it is time for the mailbag.
Yes,
Send
the mailbag.
us your stuff. Send us your stuff in a mailbag. We got two people who work in a situation where they send people stuff.
Okay, Andrew, clip that. That's our new imaging for the mailbag segment. We're going to play it every single week, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with the question we got from Chad, which I really like. And honestly, we're going to keep this brief, but we probably could have an entire show to talk about this particular issue. But Chad says, what does a great sports culture look like? Pro, college, high school, youth. And what are some examples of doing it right or the intangibles to make the great culture?
Oh, man. Talk about a subject that... You're right. We could talk about this for hours. I think a great sports culture looks like a team that loves playing together and a team that would play hard and loves to play hard not only for each other but for their coach. And I think that is something that is so rare, especially in an age when it's very easy to play for yourself. And I don't know if an age is to say that, because I think it's probably pretty easy to play for yourself throughout all of the years of sports. But that's when you got something right, is when you have a team and teammates who love each other and they want to play for each other and for their coach. And I've been in a couple of situations where, man, you just have a coach or a player or somebody who is so charismatic that you just feel like I would run through a brick wall for you. If you threw me a high pass over the middle, I would try and get that, because I know that you didn't mean to hang me out for dry and you want to win as much as I do. And so I think that type of situation is a big thing with sports culture, is wanting to do something for your teammates and for your coach.
I think these two, the qualifier of having all the different levels is a big deal too, because when you're talking about pro sports, you absolutely want to have guys who play for each other, because when you play for each other, that's how you are successful as a team. And that's a good sports culture that helps you win the games. I think at the pro level, winning is more important than at most of these other levels. When you're talking about youth sports or even high school sports, and probably on some level college sports, 99.9% of the people who participate in these sports are never going to go pro.
Yeah.
When I worked at the Vidette, I wrote a column about Little League baseball and what do you actually want your kid to get out of playing Little League baseball? Do you want them to understand that, it's okay to be disrespectful to coaches and umpires? Do you want them to see that the value of a win is more important than anything else in the world? Or do you want them to go out there, have a sense of camaraderie with their teammates, focus on doing the best that you can and controlling what you can control, and treating other people respectfully? Because I have coached a lot of youth sports, and I have always felt that the seasons that I've had the most fun were not always the seasons that we won the most games. And I'm competitive, and I want to instill competition in the kids. So I want them to be competitive and want to win. But there's many more important things that you want to get out of it, and winning is not all of it. So in youth sports, you're absolutely trying to teach them, try your best, do things the right way, be teachable, be a good teammate. If you do those things, you show good sportsmanship, then I don't even care whether we win or not. When you get into high school, that's when you start to put those things together to win the games. Like, you've hoped that everyone that plays on your team has come up through youth sports that has instilled those kind of things in them so that when you get them, they are coachable, they are teachable, they are good teammates, they are good sports, and they are competitive because that helps you, put the final product on the court or the field or the pitch or whatever that helps them win the games together. So I feel like this question has so many layers to it because, when you get to pro sports, I mean, it's important to win. If you don't win, you lose your job, and then you're not a pro athlete anymore. In college, for some of the top end guys, maybe winning and getting yours and performing best is the most important thing. But in youth and high school sports, it is absolutely most important to learn to do things the right way, to be a good sport, and to be a good teammate.
Absolutely.
I kind of want to push back on that a little bit, Justin, because I think even at the pro level, when you would think winning is everything, we see example after example of guys who think that winning is everything and go to prison. Or just have, or that's an extreme example, or just have awful lives after their sport. And I think even at the pro level, where winning is vitally important, a good sports culture has to set the people in the culture up to be successful and win at life, not just at the game. And it's I won't point to Pete Carroll as the ultimate of all best sport culture things, but I really like what he says about winning forever. In that it isn't about winning this game or this season, it's about setting up a culture so that you're always performing your best in everything you do.
Love that.
Yeah, I'm right with you on that too. And again, we could dive into that so much more deeply, but maybe
we will if we don't have sports for a while.
That is for sure. We should hold on to that one for the future, but we all have Easter celebrations in our isolation tanks that we're in to get to as well. So let's move it on. What's the next one that you want to get to?
Let's go to, this will be a quick answer for all of us. Okay, this one comes from Francis, and it's more of an insult than anything else. It says, should the Seahawks bring back the classic look that DangerRuss was promoting? If you didn't see it, Russell Wilson got a hold of a photoshopped image of him with an old throwback jersey from like the 80s, and it looked pretty darn sweet.
It was awesome.
So Francis is saying, the ones that were used when it was a handoff for 3 yards, followed by a handoff for 3 yards, followed by a screen pass for 2 yards, or an incomplete pass to Largent, or a drop back fumble by Dave Krieg. So he's saying, basically what Francis is saying is, do you really want to bring back the jersey that's going to bring back these memories? And I would say, I don't want it to be their regular jersey, but I think it would be pretty cool if they wore it once or twice.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And I think part of it, though, is since I wasn't really alive for much of those memories, all I see is the cool uniform. And I know that Steve Largent wore it.
It reminds you of when people called you Steve.
Yeah, I do remember my dad would reference Dave Krieg whenever somebody fumbled anything.
Yeah.
That was the pretty go-to reference. If you dropped something or if you fumbled something, he'd call you Dave Krieg.
My first reaction was, how dare you mention Largent in the context of an incomplete pass instead of in the context of a linebacker losing his soul? But then I realized that I badmouthed the Bears last week, which are Francis's team, and he's just getting back at me. So I probably deserve that.
Also, linebacker or safety?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know either.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we take the hint of animosity there from a Bears fan who sadly hasn't had anything to root for since,
Devin
Buddy
Hester.
Ryan was in charge.
He had Devin Hester and Rex Grossman.
Oh, you're right. They lost in the Super Bowl.
They are who we thought they were. Okay,
right.
Final question, and we'll make this one quick as well. This is also from Francis. Dog or cat, which is better? And I would say any dog under 50 pounds is a cat, and cats are useless.
You stole that. You stole that.
That's Ron Swanson.
Oh man. My opinion I'm just realized that I was trying to type on my laptop onto my PC computer. That didn't work out so well. I used to be 100% dogs over cats. And while I'm still more dogs over cats because I love dogs and dogs love you, I'm still going to go with dogs because I think that if a cat was given the choice, they would kill you and eat you for sustenance, whereas a dog will just,
Wait till
lie
you
down.
die and then eat you for sustenance.
No, they will lie down and die with you for sadness because their master is gone.
They're not quite smart enough to understand, survive, and reproduce, I think, is what it is. Okay,
It could be, but hey, that works fine for me because I just want someone to love me, dang it.
Well, by contrast here, I used to be a 100% cats over dogs person because dogs are smelly and they lick you and they're gross and they eat their own poo and they lick their butts and it's disgusting. They not only do they lick their own butts, but they lick their own butts and then they try to lick you in the face. So I've been, for much of my life, a semi-anti-dog person. I've since kind of shifted to cats are also sort of disgusting. The most recent pet that I owned was Bunny, and he sadly passed away earlier this year, but he was the sweetest animal that I've ever known in my life. So I'm going to say cats are gross, dogs are gross, bunnies are awesome.
It's funny, the last pet I owned was also a cat, and it was the cutest little thing, but we tried to put it outside at night, and it would climb up onto our screen window right next to our bed, like it knew exactly where we were.
It
would
did,
just be
because
like,
cats are smart.
and we sleep with the window open, and it would just be like, oh, 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 constantly. And so then we let it in the house, and then it would stand outside our bedroom and do the same thing. So this cat that we were just going to house for a couple weeks until we could find it a home turned into a cat that slept on our bed every single night while we had it.
So my answer is a little bit more nuanced. Dogs or cats.
Congratulations.
The one that is better is the one that has a job. Both dogs and cats need a job to be acceptable at all. A cat is awesome if you need some pest control and a little bit of companionship, but not a lot. A dog is awesome if you need things retrieved or if you need a companion that loves you more than anything else in the entire world. That's
solid.
That's the way it is.
Okay.
Sadly, I was really hoping he went somewhere I could disagree with after he said that his answer was more nuanced, but I actually agreed with that a lot.
I think I want to get another bunny.
An example of a pet that has no possible job.
What was the bunny's name?
Bunny's name was Appa.
Aw.
It was literally the sweetest animal in the world. And it was the bunny we had before that was really mean. So to switch to this bunny, which just loved being social, and if my 10-year-old son would just lie on the floor, the bunny would just hang out around him the whole time. It was pretty great.
So, not wanting to drift too much into the Joe Exotic territory,
Yeah.
but
Did you finally watch the Tiger King series?
I have not watched it yet, no.
Okay.
But if you could, since you brought up bunnies, and they're a little different for pets, I've always wanted something that was different than the normal. I've never had a chance to, but my first thought was always fox. I don't know why particularly, but I always thought a fox would be cool. I think somebody in our neighborhood has a ferret because it recently got out and was trying to attack some chickens or something around here.
No ferrets.
But do you guys have like an off-the-wall animal that you would want instead of a dog or a cat or a bunny?
I've always thought it would be cool to have like a small monkey or a lemur,
Ooh.
Although I've been told that they're really gross and they smell terrible. So I don't know, and also that they're really expensive. I don't think I'd want anything big enough to kill me. So like any kind of big cat or something like that would be out of the question. I would say I've thought a lot about having some kind of a small monkey or something that would be, fun and would I'd just be able to like carry it around and it can hang out on my shoulder.
Monkeys would be sweet. Big cat. I used to always want a cheetah because they're my favorite animal because they're the fastest. And also, I do not want to die though, so I think that'd be a bad idea.
A sea otter.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, they're so
I would
cute.
love a. I don't think that they make good. They would make a good pet at all. Like so I'm not advocating an actual sea otter. But if you could give me a sea otter that you could promise me was actually going to be domesticated and a good pet, that would be the best pet ever.
You know what I'm getting Andrew for his birthday.
All right, I think that's going to do it for our show today, boys. So, for my co-host, Justin, cats are useless, Damashevitz.
And my co-host, Daniel, I want to see weird stuff. Hargrove, that was from when we were talking about horse shooting. And our trusty producer, Andrew, my answer is a little more nuanced. Gross.
You've been listening to The Scrimmage.